All right, so today I'm discussing Mark Cuban. He became a dot-com billionaire in the 90s, bought the Dallas Mavericks, which won the championship in 2011. He's been the best judge on Shark Tank, in my opinion, ever. Then a few years ago, he sold his beloved Mavs and started Mark Cuban's Cost Plus Drugs, which was made to really take on the waste, fraud, and greed in the U.S. healthcare system. So full disclosure, I'm a Laker fan. Never spoken to Mark Cuban, but I still kind of like the dude. I am wearing the souvenir shirt they gave us in Dallas on Luka Doncic's first game back in Dallas when he joined the Lakers. So I was thinking today I'll focus on Mark Cuban himself first, then hone in on his work in healthcare and say exactly how he's trying to improve the U.S. healthcare/pharmaceutical market. All right, so let's talk about Cost Plus Drugs. Where did this venture come from? So Mark Cuban launched it in 2022 because he felt that the drug pricing system in America was deliberately opaque. And he's right. So in America, we have these middlemen called PBMs. So these are pharmacy benefit managers. So these companies, they sit between drug manufacturers and patients, and they make money by keeping prices kind of murky. So nobody knows what anything actually costs. And because nobody knows, nobody can challenge it. So Mark Cuban's idea was really simple, almost embarrassingly simple. So what if you just showed people exactly what the drug cost to make and then charged a fixed percentage on top? So he didn't want any games, any negotiating, no hidden markups in the insurance paperwork. And that's really it. That's the entire model. So I'm going to have an example here on screen. So this is what it looks like in practice. I take levothyroxine every day. It's a thyroid medication. It's one of the most commonly prescribed drugs in the country. Millions of people are on this. So when you look at this breakdown, you can see the manufacturing cost, and then they have a flat markup of 15%. So if the drug costs $2.84, it's 43 cents of markup. And then they have the pharmacy labor, and you're done. So for a 90-day supply here, it shows before shipping, it's $8. And if you look at other retail pharmacies, they have an example here at 50. I've seen it even listed higher. Some places you're getting charged $100, and it matters whether you have insurance or not, whether you go to CVS or Walgreens. All those things all matter. So again, for the same drug, the same dose, the same 90 pills, it can be anywhere from $8 to over $100. So now that you see that the manufacturing cost of this drug is less than $3, but it somehow ends up at over $100 at the pharmacy counter. So that's not the cost of healthcare. That's the cost of the system that sits around healthcare here. So where does TrumpRx fit in, right? So this is what Mark Cuban was actually on stage with Donald Trump for. So TrumpRx, if you actually look under the hood, which I did, it's actually more of an aggregator of manufacturer coupons. So the BIN and PCN numbers, these are the codes that pharmacies use to process drug discounts. They're basically the same as the manufacturer codes across the site. So it's more of like a one-stop shopping for coupons that already exist. Not that that's nothing, because a lot of people don't even know you can get discounts. And if you're confused on how to get them, having them in one place is still useful. But this is still different than what Mark Cuban did with Cost Plus Drugs. So TrumpRx is working inside the existing system, whereas Cost Plus is trying to replace it or circumvent it. So there's other companies like GoodRx and things like that. These guys are kind of in the middle. They negotiate discount rates with pharmacies, and they pass some of that on to you. It's useful, but the pricing is still unknown. It's not that predictable. You might get a great deal on one drug and then a bad one on another. So Cost Plus is the only one of these three that shows you the math. And I think that transparency is the whole point. So Mark Cuban said publicly that if other pharmacies want to match his prices, great. He considers that a win. He's not trying to corner the market, but he is trying to kind of publicly shame the industry into changing. So it's like going to a car dealership. You're like, I want that Chevy, but you have to deal with the middleman, right? The dealership negotiating, the unknown markup. Then the guy's like, let me go talk to my manager. And, you have to do the whole dog and pony show, all that nonsense. So if Mark Cuban was selling you the car, he's showing you the invoice like, hey, this is how much it costs to manufacture. Here's all the other costs, and here's my 15% markup. You could take it or leave it. So that would be kind of the same experience for a car. I think it's a nicer experience, in my opinion. But that's just, what he's headed towards. All right, so to wrap up, Cost Plus Drugs isn't going to single-handedly fix American healthcare. There's a lot of problems that are really big. too politically complicated for one company to fix. There's been really big companies that have tried before. We saw Amazon go in with Haven, but what he did do was that he took one deliberately confusing part of the system, drug pricing, and he made it so simple. Manufacturing cost, markup, labor, shipping, done, right? So what it does is it kind of makes a precedent, and hopefully soon CVS should have to answer why they won't show you the same thing, even Walgreens. So if this could shine a light on every PBM in the country that are making tons of money just being a middleman and upping the cost of your drugs, it's a big deal. Because Americans are splitting pills, skipping doses, because they have to choose between their prescription and their electric bills and things like that. So this isn't some faraway third world problem. It's really happening right now all over this country to people, even with jobs and insurance. So this isn't Mark Cuban's fight. It's not really his problem. Obviously, he can afford even the most expensive drug on the market. But instead, he's here arguing with CVS on Twitter and building this pharmacy from scratch. So even if you don't like Mark Cuban, I think you should respect that, what he's trying to do. So you can go check costplusdrugs.com, or better yet, anytime you pick up any prescription, ask your pharmacist for the cash price. It doesn't even include Mark Cuban. You might be shocked. A lot of times there's like one of these manufacturer coupons you could see on TrumpRx or GoodRx, a lot of these other sites, that's cheaper than insurance, and all you got to do is ask. You don't even need the internet. You just ask your pharmacist, hey, what's the cash price? And a lot of times it's cheaper than insurance. So yeah, if this was useful, share it with someone who's paying too much for their meds, which statistically is probably most of the people you know. All right, so see you in the next one. Thanks.